This is Sean. We are on a job in Greensboro today. So what we're going to be working on here is we've got this basement that's been flooding. And so the homeowner has already had a couple people over here. The landscaper did a French drain across here, and that didn't do anything, and he built up this berm right here. I talked to the landscaper, and he said he built this berm up so the water would hold here and soak into the ground, which is exactly the opposite of what you want. If you're going to put a French drain in there, you want the water to get into the drain so it leaves. But we couldn't figure out where the French drain exited, and within a week after he had done this work, she had huge flooding in her basement. So this is all a finished basement down here. And so after making a few trips over here and thinking about this, we are going to pour some concrete into a channel drain on each side. So all this berm right here has to go, and we're going to have to pull up the deck like the landscaper already did and dig across there. So the concrete guys are coming later this week, so we're going to try to get this excavated and prepped for them. So that's what we're working on today. I wanted to show you this French drain. Now this is about 3 weeks old or so. And so, first of all, if at all possible, you want your French drain to be open on both sides. This one's capped. Second, you don't want this sock thing on here because it stops the water it plugs up really bad. And perhaps most importantly is the landscape guy put gravel right up against the house. And so you know the water flows through gravel, so by putting it right up against the house, that's just literally letting the water go right through there. And so this French drain it was inferior products, and it was installed incorrectly, and it didn't do anything. So that's about 3 weeks old right there. And this guy apparently had hand dug it and everything, and he spent a bunch of time out here. And when talking to the homeowner, she couldn't understand why I was telling her the exact opposite of what she had just been told. And I explained to her that landscapers, when they go to the landscape supply house, this is the stuff that's for sale there. And so they're not in the drainage business. Now this would be fine if you're trying to put it around your rose bushes, but when you've got major flooding going on, this is not the right stuff. So you can't blame the landscaper. He went to the landscape supply house, he bought the materials that they had available, and he installed it the way he thought he was supposed to. But it's just not the right application for when you're actually having problems. So I explained to her that the landscaper didn't do anything wrong, he just isn't a foundation drainage specialist like I am. So that's what we're over here doing, is solving this flooding problem.
Look at my snail.
You got a snail?
You should be our mascot.
That's our mascot. we've made some progress here, and I wanted to show you really quickly. The landscaper had put gravel all the way up against the house here, and critically all the way up against the window well, and so there was water just coming through this window well and into the wall down there. And so the pipe, you can see where the pipe, he had run the pipe along here, and so again, this was just installed incorrectly. So you can see how close the pipe gets right there, and it's just kind of wrapping around and all over the place. So this French drain wasn't doing anything. If anything, it was making things way worse. Because again, water goes through gravel, and so he was just giving that water just an easy entrance point. So we're going to concrete across all this into a channel drain. The channel drain is going to be open on both ends, and so we're going to give that water an easy path to get out of here.
You're safe.
Yeah, we'll put them in a different place.
Okay. What if they're broken?
We'll trash them.
Okay.
And you're gonna get this part from the right here,
Is that deep enough, bud, or do you need more?
We want to have at least 2 or 3 inches of concrete underneath the windowsill to pry down to the level with this part over here.
Some more. Okay.
Yep. And we'll pull that pipe out of there too.
engineering.
You haven't seen the best part yet. I'm gonna wheel this into the back of the.
Camera?
I'm gonna wheel this into the back of the dump truck.
Is it on?
Yep.
And we're back.
I need to do a reverse dump and get all this in toward the front. Let me get the excavator down here.
Reverse dump, y'all. You heard it here first. This is the dump ramp.
There you go.
Here he comes.
Can you hold it over the edge?
think so.
Yeah,
John,
okay, so
is that
Pat, you
right?
can say that.
Hmm.
So we're coming back, we're gonna trench the drain. Are we installing that?
Yeah.
And then Thursday they come and replace
The concrete.
the concrete? Okay.
You know what you need?
We are back on this job. We're gonna do some trenching today. And my van's been in the shop. The rear axle's a little bit messed up, so we've got the pickup truck today, which is a pain to work out of. But we're gonna get this portion of the job done, and then concrete should hopefully be here tomorrow or the next day. Alright, we've got this all dug out for our channel drain. Is going to end somewhere over here somewhere, and then it's going to go into solid pipe. We're going to catch that gutter, and then she did have some schedule 30 in here, so that was good. And just real quickly, see, this is schedule 30 PVC, which is better than corrugated, but it's still really flimsy. So it's definitely better than corrugated, but it's still quite flimsy. So we go to the next step and only use corrugated, only use schedule 40. All right, so that piece that she had ended right here, and so that's not really much of an outfall. It's too deep, it's back grading, it's holding water, and so that's why I don't do my outfalls in the middle of the yard here. We're going to take this all the way to the street and have a nice outfall of riprap, or I mean all the way out to the sidewalk. Alright, we've got this stubbed out right here, so whenever the channel drain gets set, we can hook onto this. We've got that gutter caught, and you can see the extremely aggressive fall we've got there. So she's got leaves and trees here, and so the reason we gave it such an aggressive slope right there is any debris that gets into these gutters is going to get quickly washed out of here. So we are heading on down to the outfall down here. Okay.
I will just continue to punch some underneath. When you get the first up there, I'll get that too.
We got our pipe laid in here, and we're just getting things covered up on this side. So this yard slopes down quite dramatically, so we have tons of fall. That's not a problem. And we should be good to go here. Yep. We're over here on the other side getting this dug out. So let me show you what's going on here. I like my drains to be open on both sides if at all possible. So we're just gonna open this up and have this channel drain draining on this side as well. So again, you're giving the water the path of least resistance in either direction. And so we're over here. There was a Schedule 30 drainage pipe right here, and it ended right there. So we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to put it basically to the driveway right there, and then we're going to do a riprap outfall. Talk more about that later. But I wanted to show you this little guy that we just caught. This is a slimy salamander. And so this is a terrestrial salamander. You can see the very rounded tail on that. And these guys are called slimy salamanders because if you handle them, they secrete a really, really sticky, slimy paste that gets all over you. And so if you've been catching these all day, your hands get really dirty, and then with all the stickiness, and it never comes clean. I don't know if you can hear it, but that gutter is just barely dripping. You hear that? And that little bit of flow, we just got back from lunch. That little tiny bit of flow, because this pipe has great fall to it and it's smooth on the inside, that flow is making it all the way out here to the outfall. So look at that. Isn't that incredible that just a little drip like that, when run through a proper pipe that is properly set in every place to have fall, is going to flow like that. So you can imagine that when it rains, this thing is going to pour out of here. So what we're going to do here, the neighbor, this is a neighboring property here, they didn't want to run a pipe through here, and we didn't really want to either because they often drive on this area. So we're going to end our pipe right here, and then we're just going to pack some riprap in here, and I'm going to track over it with the excavator and pack it down so that you can drive over it, but you're not going to damage it, and the pipe's going to end over here somewhere and then just trickle across, or maybe even sheet across to the driveway. And we're going to catch that gutter right there as well. All right, we just got this 3/4, this street 22.5 in. How's that look, Jeremy?
Yeah, it looks like we got more than 3/4 of a bubble there.
All right.
And then I'd say that's full bubble right there.
Awesome.
There we go.
So that's going to give that channel drain on the other side of this fence a very aggressive place to drain to. So any water that hangs out in that channel drain is going to hit this pipe, and it's sweeping down so hard that that water is just going to swoosh out of here. We also, as we usually do, we gave this gutter a very aggressive fall to it. So we could have trenched it across there and come up, but we choose to have the pipe exposed like this because it's behind a bush. That's going to give us the most fall to aggressively take water out of here. And also the other thing that does for us, that high volume of flow, is that's going to blow out any debris that gets in there. And we already talked about how we've got a lot of trees over here. So that's going to keep this system working by itself. We are back on this job, and the concrete guys are on the way. So we've got our pipe stubbed out. The concrete guys are going to get here, do their thing, form it up. We're going to set our channel drain. I've got some plastic put up to try and help cover up the brick from concrete splashing, and I got to get these boards off of here. These were just temporary for safety, so let's get this done.
Yeah.
Then I check the straight, but we gotta have it coming back this way. With only, I got you an 1/8 of a bubble coming off, coming towards the drain.
Nice.
That should be plenty.
Yep.
I gotta make sure the string don't go that way.
Yeah.
Now,
Okay, check it out.
you ready, Gomer?
Go ahead.
You ain't hitting the phone, man.
We just need to lift it up in the middle a little bit.
Let's got to come up a little bit more. Yeah. Look at this. He's on that little handsaw. You know that little thing got? Fall right.
And then we push it down.
If he can get it down enough for that. Check the level up again.
The level, they're going down.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
See?
Mm-hmm.
And that one going down.
That one's going down hard.
Well, you don't need to cut none of that right in.
I've got my pipe set in here, and the concrete guys have got it all formed up. And we are waiting for concrete. So we took the channel all the way under the deck. Two reasons for that. The first is if we get any water running across here, it'll get caught. But the second reason is if they ever get rid of this deck, this will all be done. And they can pour concrete right up to our concrete and have it look really nice. So I hear a truck down there. Let's go see if the concrete's here. We just finished, or the concrete guys just finished the pour. So, there we go. Gonna let this set up a little bit and then pull the tape off of the grate. And put these deck boards back. I want to show you what I just found under a board. We're putting the deck back together. This is a little Paramiscus mouse. So, big whiskers. Whoop, there he goes. I am back over here on this job, and I just wanted to take a look at how things came out. So, here's our first outfall. And the customer has reported back that the system's been working very well, and she hasn't had any more flooding going on in her basement. On this side, we just put in some Class B riprap to give the water a place to go along the driveway here. This is the neighbor's driveway. And we didn't want to put a pipe in here because this gets driven on quite a bit, and the neighbor had no problem with the water sheeting across their driveway. So it looks like it's been driven on a little bit already, but that's the outfall right there. So that's good news. Her flooding problem is solved.